Welcome back, everybody, to Two Deans and No Waiting. My name is Dean, and here, taking the place of Dean this week, will be my good friend Slick Rick. Thank you for joining me this week. You've been on the show before.
Yes, I have. How you doing tonight?
We're going to have a good show. Rick is definitely a connoisseur when it comes to Q, and definitely knows about the occult and the history of the New World Order, per se. You're kind of a connoisseur of that, aren't you?
I dabble a little bit.
Yeah, so because, I mean, talking to you, I know that you know a lot about what's going on. And if you tell our listeners the history of this, how far back does this go? I mean, as far as this, like, invisible empire?
At least 4,000 years, 3,500 years. At least. Bloodlines can date that long. You know,
Now,
Cain, Abel, you know, that type bloodlines.
it goes
from Cain.
it goes back that far.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, you're talking like you're talking the ancient Egypt. You're talking Mesopotamia.
Yep,
You're talking
absolutely.
Sumeria, the Anunnaki.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and how do they keep this? And this is something I've talked with like other people. How did they keep this the empire alive? This invisible empire, and it's real. I mean, this is real. I mean, there is an invisible empire. You know, they call it the shadow government, or the conservatives call it the deep state. It's real.
Yeah,
it's real, and it's there.
The
I mean, how do they
invisible
keep?
face right in front of you all day long. They're just right there all the time. You know, their hands are in everything.
Exactly, and they go back like 5,000-6,000 years.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, you start digging, and once you dig, it's just a never-ending rabbit hole. It just doesn't stop. You just connect. My God, you just connect everything. I mean, it just rolls from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Knights Templar, you know, the strong arm for the Vatican, and just, you know,
It goes as far back, okay, that's 1,000 years when you're talking Knights Templar and the Holy Wars, or I should say the Crusades, the fight between the Christians and the Muslims over Israel,
Yes.
over the Middle East. How ironic that things are still bad over there, but it's a different war. It's not the same war. People think, well, they've been fighting that goddamn war for 7,000 years. No, it's totally different. It's totally different. But when we're talking about this invisible empire has been there for 6,000 years. And it's just so crazy how they can, and they're like blue bloods, right? They're all connected, right?
They intertwine themselves with
The royal
banking.
family?
Yeah, everything.
What with the banking, the international banking
that's
cartel?
What started it with trade and bartering, and that's what started their tentacles to every continent. I mean, everything.
Now, I do know, you know, a lot about the Zionist and the Zionist movement when that started. You go back to Theodore Herzl, and he was the one that proposed the idea to send the Zionists into Palestine. They took it over. They labeled it in 1948, of course, with the blood money of England and the Rothschild money. But the Rothschilds go back 300 years.
Oh, further than that, you can date them all the way back to the Phoenician times that bloodlines coincided. They've just changed names over the years.
So the Rothschilds go back
Intertwined.
even further back. I know, as far as I know, they go back to the Napoleonic Wars. That's still a long time.
I mean, you can even dig into the Rothschilds going to having dabbles in supporting the mob that supposedly killed Lincoln.
That's insanity.
Oh, I'm trying to
Really?
I can't think of his name. Oh.
John Wilkes Booth?
No,
Well,
he
he's
the guy that hired Wilkes Booth was a Rothschild banker. He worked for the Rothschild banking system, and he's the one that actually hired Wilkes Booth to do the job.
no kidding.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
man.
And there
that
were
is
direct
crazy.
orders from England and things like
Oh,
that.
of course,
you know.
of course. Right. England's, like I said, I told Dean, England leaves their shit trail everywhere. I mean, the sun never set on the British Empire, you know. And wow, yeah. And like I said, you know, the New World Order was a collaboration of the Anglo-American establishment and the Zionists. And you know, but we're talking when you go back before America was even a twinkle in Rothschild's eye. that you know, this family and it's like a cartel and it's a network.
Yeah, it's a never-ending network.
Right, and they're still in charge today.
Oh,
and of course
Got their hands in
it's
dabbling in a little bit of everything. Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
it's the Vatican, it's the Zionists, it's the international banking cartel, it's the same people that control the IMF, the World Bank, the
CIA.
World Trade, CIA, British intelligence, Israeli intelligence. Oh man, it goes back years, and it's crazy, And I do know that you dabble in that a little bit, and the subliminal messages they send out there, it's just crazy, man.
Insanity. Using gematria to signal things. You ever dig into gematria?
You know what?
The numerical things.
I am not going to say I'm an expert on
No, me
gematria.
neither. Me neither. Absolutely not. It's so
But
deep, but that's how they do.
numerical.
Yeah, that's how they communicate and do things.
Well,
using the gematria.
it's funny that you
Phrases, sayings, things like that. It's a numerical sequence for each letter. A is 1 and B is 2, and then they subliminally interact with each other with that.
Well, yeah, for
And it also is the roots to languages and things too.
that's crazy. I didn't know that, but I do know certain numbers like 33, a 33 Mason.
Yeah.
I do know like another significant number was 32, 33, 32, and they said something about how gold when it went to 32, 32, it was like or $3,200, it was symbolic. And something with like 9/11 too, where 33rd parallel, the planes.
Something.
And it's crazy though. Like I said, I'm not going to try to explain that.
I mean, you can spend hours and digging into that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I need to bring a specialist when it comes to that. But definitely,
There's this guy
very
out
interesting.
there called Tommy Numbers. He's from England.
Okay.
Tommy Numbers is his name, and you can look him up. I'm sure he's on Rumble, YouTube, or along
Right.
those lines. And he is crazy, man. He can dig out texts and phrases and the numerical standpoint and show you patterns and sequences and pick out what they were trying to say with the numerical.
And this guy's on YouTube, I'm assuming.
He's just crazy. Yeah, I've seen him on different platforms. Yeah,
it's
BitChute and all that stuff.
It's crazy how far back the blue blood, and for the longest time they only married from within.
They still do.
Right, and and I do know that the Zionists actually.
That's how they hide their names.
Right. Well, the phony Jews, right? That's how they hide their names by marrying with these other
family members.
Other family members, like royal family too.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny how they're all intertwined together. But you are starting to see a pivot. You're definitely seeing like a change. There's an awakening. There is a velvet revolution going on. Definitely. It's just crazy how far.
Especially in Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah, the royal family.
Yep. The prince was Prince Salmani. Yep. It's pretty crazy.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that country was made up by England. It was the British Empire created, of course. Have you ever seen the movie? What was it? Lawrence of Arabia.
When I was a kid.
Yeah. Right. Well, the royal family created the definitely the Saudi royal family, right? And there's definitely a connection. And who are the Wahhabis? They are the Wahhabis. They are the ones that have the oil. How ironic, right? I mean, crazy. It's crazy how these people are all intertwined together. They're all in bed together. But nevertheless, if we go into the 21st century right now and look at all the stuff going on, it seems like things are just getting worse. Things are getting worse. The dollar's getting worse. They're shifting everything over to a whole new system, right? I mean,
I truly think the monetary system is going to be dead. The whole debt slave dollar system is going to die here sooner than later. It's going to be a digital coin based, Bitcoin and with gold backing.
Right.
It's going to have a gold backing. There's big push for all that, moving gold and purchasing of gold and things like that. And I'm no financial expert of any sort. I don't give no financial advice or anything like that. These are just things that I've observed, and seeing what's going on, people talking, different things like that.
And that's on the verge of happening right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
They're talking about it as right now. Yeah. Well, there was
Stable
just
coin. They wanna-
the big Bitcoin
they had a big-
conference was just going on here.
they had that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So what do you think? What's Q saying about all this? Since you kind of dabble into Q a little bit,
Well,
what's their intake?
Well, it's really not an intake on that. That was more. The program was more a military intelligence program designed to make people aware of all the bad things that have happened over the years and make them dig within the system, and find out the truth.
So that's why the internet is a big source of what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Although DARPA created the internet.
That's where the anon aspect of QAnon comes from, because Q is a program, a military intelligence program, and anon is the anonymous person behind the computers. Dig in on 8chan, on 4chan when Q first dropped.
So Q is just one.
It's
more.
I've heard different things, but it's a group of military intelligence people that drop informational Easter eggs for you to go dig anonymously and find out things that the shadow governments have been doing for years. Or other countries, whatever it might be, the Holly Weird thing, the trafficking,
the sex trafficking.
Yes,
so
the cartels. It was a program for people to wake up, to learn how to wake up to what is actually going on.
Now, let me elaborate on this, and let me ask you, because I do believe, the internet was created by DARPA, and they knew right away what the internet could do. It could overthrow countries, start revolutions, and this is something that right up to CIA's, that's their forte. Now, my question is this, okay? Why would the elite do this to themselves? Because Kaz and I talked about it last week. We talked about how possibly the establishment is going after each other. You think maybe that the establishment is actually going after each other? That they're trying to bring down another
it's been
family?
It's been going on for years, back and forth, good versus bad, and personally, I think over the last several years here, there's been more of a good aspect of military alliance around the world in all the different countries. That's why you see a movement in all the different countries. You see.
How do we know that's not synthetic, though?
We don't.
Or it's non-government organizations?
We don't. We have to observe and try to be going through what we've been doing for ever how many years now of watching everything, craziness of the world.
Now, the truth of the matter is there is an awakening, and there has been an awakening.
Yes.
And more people are in tune today than what they were 10, 20, 30 years ago.
The COVID awakening.
Although, and Kaz talked about it, that how we think the elite are possibly going after each other, going after one, just like big mafia, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like the mafia families go after one another. I guess the elite are doing the same thing.
I would assume.
As you can see, if we're talking about now, let's talk about our country and let's talk about Trump. How do you think things are looking right now?
Better than they have been.
You think so?
I will say, yeah. I think it'll be even better each day that goes by. I think our country is going to dig out of the hole and become a hell of a lot better than what it has been for many, many, many decades.
So do you think Trump is actually legit? He's not compromised?
Yeah, I actually think he's legit.
You think he's legit?
I do. Legit for the fact of making America better and making our country better with the help of trying to help other countries become better. Make our world better. How many times does he say that? But all politicians say that.
Exactly.
I get that. I get that. But I seem to see him actually trying instead of these other jerk offs over the years. I mean, just Bill Clinton and all them guys.
Okay.
It kills me. It's
Okay.
hilarious.
Okay. Now,
well, all we can do is hope. That's all I can say.
Sure, but this is my problem. Trump will be there only if he's legit or not. He's just going to be there 3 years.
Yeah.
So then, who are you going to trust after that?
We'll have to see after that who comes and steps up to the plate in the next year.
This is very interesting. The next 3 years, and I made a prediction on this show where I think there will be an independent that will become a president. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be grassroots. He might start out that way. He might be bought out by non-government organizations. He might be bought out by George Soros. He might be bought out by the far right. I don't know. He might be intertwined with the ancient civilization that's been controlling the world for 180,000 years. I don't know, but I do think that's going to happen because more American people are tired of the two-party system. It's garbage.
I actually think the Democratic Party is going to eat itself within.
They already have.
Destroy them.
They already have.
Oh, I know.
But nobody. But the majority
to the
of people,
point where it's not even going to be around.
But this is the thing.
Where your independence going to come in, like you're saying.
Well, I said this on this show before. The Democrats need their version of a Donald Trump that's going to come in and say, you know what? You guys suck. You guys do the same thing. You guys are establishment. They need someone that's going to be an anti-establishment candidate. They're going to have to. Unless they're that stupid. I mean, you're going to go with the same old crap?
Well, first they need to find somebody that can actually try to lead that party.
They don't have
nobody.
They might have to bring Kennedy back from the dead because they ain't going to find anybody.
Absolutely nobody in that party.
No.
They're all a bunch of
but then again, I don't trust the Republicans. You throw Trump out of the picture and you got the same old shit.
Oh. I guess there's a difference between a MAGA Republican.
Well, exactly, and I'm sorry, and Cass and I talked about that last week. Just like when we talked about,
is it going to be the MAGA party and then the Independent Party?
I don't know.
Republican and the
maybe
Party
because I truly believe Trump destroyed the Republican Party. It's done. It was a good thing, and let me tell you why. All these guys are riding on his coattails. That's what they're doing. Because every single one of them guys were attacking him more than the Democrats in the beginning. The Democrats were looking at him, wow, these guys are attacking him more than we are.
So you basically just said he came in and destroyed.
He destroyed the party, but in a good way.
No. Yeah, right.
In a good way.
He destroyed the system.
Okay, the Republican system.
He destroyed their system.
Well, he's trying to do that, or supposedly, or whatever.
He destroyed their fucking plans of money laundering and all that. As
far as Republicans go.
That's my opinion.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying.
He pissed them all off.
As far as, which I liked. He's the enemy of my enemy. How can you not like that? In the beginning, 2015, 2016, when he ran, it was great. You had people like Mitt Romney. I can't stand Mitt Romney's a criminal. So, what I'm saying, hold on. Let me finish, Dean. You reminded me of Dean now. You keep interrupting me, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, serious. Like when he came out, like a lot of the people I hated, like the neocons, were all against him. So I'm like, well, he's got to be a little better because these guys don't like him. So that already tells me that's interesting. Right. But the point I was trying to make, the Democrats need somebody like that that's going to come in and call these guys criminals because he did that. So he looked different in the beginning. He looked like he was grassroots. He looked like a populist. But then on the other side, you had a populist, whether or not you agree with Bernie Sanders. He was a populist.
Oh, absolutely.
But they threw him under the bus. Yeah. They threw him under the bus, and they gave it to Hillary Clinton. They threw him under the bus twice. So yeah, the Democratic establishment is still in control. They need somebody that's going to come on and call these guys, call a spade a spade.
It's not going to happen.
Well, then they're never going to win an election unless they cheat.
I'm telling you right now, they've destroyed that party.
Well, yeah. I agree. It was self-inflicted.
If anything, it'll just be a loudmouth voice.
Well, kind of like mine. Okay.
Pretty much that's it for now.
Well, yeah.
Until they either change their ways to what they've been doing for the last 20 years. You know what I'm seriously?
Right.
It's been the last 20 years that have totally destroyed them.
I get
Their
it.
ideology.
I get it. Their ideology is not the same. I used to be a Democrat. I'm talking 20 years
Oh, I
ago.
voted Democrat many.
Okay, I was a liberal. I felt
voted
like
Bush and all that. Yeah.
you voted well. Bush was a was a
Well,
neocon. Yeah.
I know. But I'm just saying, I voted Democrat.
But
I voted for who I always thought was the better candidate.
well, okay, so
Until I started
I
digging and learning, and it was like, holy cow, was I wrong on a lot of shit?
I am more of a political atheist anymore. I don't believe in two-party system. I think it's a one-party system. And like I said, it's going to be possibly back to normal once Trump is out, which is not a good thing. I don't even think the media is going to like that because there's nobody as entertaining as this guy. So this is the thing. If you're a MAGA supporter, and I don't know, maybe the MAGA, maybe the people who support Trump might even be divided in 3 years once he goes, because I don't know right now who's he going to pass the torch to. But then that's 2 years away. Anything can happen. I'll tell you that next election is going to be very interesting.
The funniest thing is he trolled everybody and put out Trump 2028 hats. You've seen that, right?
yeah. He's not going to do a Roosevelt.
No, it's not him. What do you think it is within his family?
What
do you think it'll be? It'll be Eric.
It could, yeah. See,
it'll be Eric and not Don.
What? I don't like dynasties. I really don't. I mean, the Kennedys had it. I know, of course, the Bush dynasty, the Clintons. I mean, he's going to do the same. I'm not saying he's the same, has the same political ideas, but then one of his kids are going to run. And okay, then what do we got? A monarchy?
Right. I don't know. I'm just saying. I found it hilarious. He fucking pissed a lot of people off now with that one. I laughed my ass off. Look at this dick.
He does have a.
I love how he trolls, dude. I just love it, dude. I just love it.
That comes out of his pores.
I think it's
you either love him or
hilarious.
hate him. I get it.
Yeah. I get it. It's all in media, media and what am I looking for? Entertainment.
Right. Well, I mean, that is politics.
Entertainment purposes.
Well, I mean, look, and let's talk a little news. So Ukraine, it's kind of a teeter-totter right now. First, I heard there was going to be a ceasefire. Then I guess we're talking a few weeks ago when Zelensky and the European Union, along with the European Union, is still giving weapons to Ukraine, which is pissing Russia off. And now seems like Trump and Putin are at odds. That's what it seems like, because the West keeps funneling money to Ukraine, and they're not stopping the bombarding. They're bombing, and then Russia's retaliating, and Trump got pissed. Russia did mass 50,000 troops to the border to get ready to invade Kharkiv. That's the second biggest city in Ukraine outside of Kiev. This is interesting. Now, I do believe Trump wants peace. I do believe that. And like I told Dean and I told Kaz, there is a rogue element that wants a big war. And that's what scares me. But then you got the other side of the further west, you have the Middle East. Or I'm sorry, further east, you have the Middle East. And now from what I heard, the last news was that there was a ceasefire. He's going to, I guess Netanyahu's going to agree to a ceasefire. My question is, when is he going to break that ceasefire? That's going to happen.
Oh,
and this guy's trying to drag America.
I don't know.
And this guy's trying to drag America into a all-out war with Iran, which I hope doesn't happen. And the only reason why we haven't gone that route is because you do have Trump, who's kind of trying to stop that. Trump is an enigma. I give you that much. He's an interesting character. Some things I like, some things I don't. I know
the whole aspect of no wars with him is it's crazy with all the bullshit that goes on over there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's I don't know. Things getting better, things getting worse. I mean, they're still sending money, or at least the European Union is still sending money to I should say NATO is still sending money to Ukraine to wage a war against Russia. Putin don't like it. It's going to be very interesting what happens this summer. Is Putin getting ready for a big offensive?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I really don't. I think
okay.
I truly think, me personally, I think a lot of this has already been taken care of, and it's just a standpoint of things that have already happened. They're showing us now. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You know.
So you don't think that there will be a big offensive? You don't think that
no, I really
Russia is
don't.
massing
No.
50,000 troops to the border, getting ready to invade Kharkiv? So you think that's just smoke and mirrors?
Do we know that?
I don't know. That's a good
guess
question. Maybe
do.
it's AI. I don't know. I have no idea. That's what I'm asking.
I have a hard time truly believing a lot of all this happens on a daily basis. I think a lot of it is just political bullshit to stir the frickin' pot.
Oh, that's true. I mean,
I really do.
It's definitely sensationalism, and that's what they use to sell, to get your attention. I get that, but there's a little smoke over there still. I guess Trump figured out. Well, hold on. I guess Trump figured out it's not as easy as it was to create peace between two countries. Well, and that war was started by, and I'm preaching at a choir, non-government organizations, the CIA, the West, Victoria Nuland, the U.S. State Department. They're the ones that started this shit, and now Trump's trying to clean it up. Not Trump's fault. Not Trump's fault. You can blame him for a lot of shit, but don't blame him for that stupid fucking war that the U.S. State Department, non-government organizations, along with George Soros money. That was under his administration when this happened. And he's another puppet. He's another front guy. Definitely. But if you need some coffee, it's over in the corner over there. Wake your ass up. Maybe I got to throw a coconut over your head.
I'm just thinking of all the crazy shit that happened over there during that whole time. No, seriously. Man.
What?
How much was hidden over there, what they've done over there. Hiding what they did.
In Ukraine? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Talk about the biolabs.
Oh, my goodness. They're everywhere.
How many biolabs
there
were
was like 296 or 289 biolabs that were over there. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. And what they've done in that country with...
laundering the money.
Laundering money, human trafficking, stealing all their minerals and resources, and just it's crazy. They
raped that country.
They raped it. They use it as a funneling system.
Exactly. And under Biden, hundreds of billions of dollars were stolen.
The natural gas thing with Burisma and Hunter Biden alone, dude. The money laundering that went on there, and what they were doing. Oh my God!
Unbelievable. I know.
Insanity.
And people get upset about the stupidest things. But when you're talking about innocent lives are lost, for what? For what? And they use our tax dollars to do this shit?
Right.
And they're making billions of dollars, and all they want to talk about is P. Diddy. Mm-hmm. P. Diddy, who was an informant who worked for the government. You know that, right? He was there too. I mean, we could talk about P. Diddy.
For the FBI.
That's very interesting what's going on there. He worked for the FBI. Of course he did. He was an informant. He was there to compromise other people. From what I heard from a source, they told me the reason why they did bust him is because there was somebody in that party that wasn't supposed to be there. Somebody high up. And when they arrested him that day, they confiscated all of his fucking videotapes.
Really?
Yes. Definitely look into that. Craziness going on over there. But P. Diddy and all these guys are connected. Hollywood, P. Diddy, politicians, sex trafficking, like you're saying. It's one big circle jerk, man. And it goes back 6,000 years from what you're saying.
Long freaking time.
Madness. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Long time.
We're going to take a break. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll be back. Welcome, everybody, back to Two Deans and No Waiting. We're back from our break, and I just wanted to elaborate on what we were talking about with all the craziness that was going on in Ukraine with the
horrible. Yeah, we were off air. We were just discussing. Yeah, I've seen a video, and it was ladies that were survivors of the war, and they were part of the baby farms that were going on. They were forced into camps where they were basically raped repeatedly and just got pregnant and had kids, and the kids were sold off and things of that nature. It was a disgusting video.
This was in Ukraine.
Yes.
This is where your tax dollars go.
It was disgusting. I hate even talking about it and thinking about it because it was horrible.
Exactly. I mean,
horrible.
And it is. And this is why, you can't trust these politicians. This is why, especially with our money.
My God, just the Haiti situation with the Clintons.
Oh, you're going back with Clinton and Bush when they set up that slush fund, that phony ass organization. All that money was going to them. It was like what, $1 million didn't even go to the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like 5 million or $1 million, was it?
Something crazy like that.
It was a crazy number.
Yeah. It was
like
ridiculous.
99.9% of the money was gone.
Yeah.
That's what a slush fund is.
Yeah. Well, and the whole Doge program of all them crazy freaking names of all them programs that they found. If that is absolutely true, that is disgusting.
Oh, with
all of our tax-paying dollars going to all them freaking bullshit. Stealing our money. So they can live high on the hog, or however, or whatever happened.
So they can keep up their fucking corrupted empire.
Right.
That's what they
right.
do.
The whole, what was it, USAID, right? The USAID situation. How deep and nasty and corrupt that was. Holy cow.
They're all slush funds.
Oh,
that's why when I see these commercials on TV, if you could just give $5 a week to my beautiful little dog who's sitting there with a fly on his face.
The one I hate is and it's nothing against Jewish people or anything.
Oh,
like
send the Jew back to Israel? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So what? He can get blown up?
No, the poor lady. I'm sorry. I don't buy that.
No, it's bullshit.
I'm not buying that.
I don't buy any of it. I don't care if it's the World Wild Refuge Federation or whatever the fuck they changed their name to anymore. The world. Off. I mean, it's insane. Yeah, you can't trust anything. It's all a scam. But if you and I set up a slush fund like that, we go to jail.
Right.
Because it's racketeering.
Right.
That's what it is. It's racketeering. Man, it's just crazy how things
pisses you off, don't it?
Yeah, it pisses me off. But I wanted to ask you a question about the head of the FBI, Kash Patel. I want to ask you a question. Do you think he's going to release those names?
J6? Or
well, January 6th is another thing I wanted. I'm talking
the names
of Epstein and all that.
Well, I don't not on the list because of the ongoing court cases and everything that's going on there. If he released names, that would totally blow off the whole case.
So that's why you think they haven't.
Right.
Okay.
Because of the ongoing cases that are going on right now.
But this is the thing, and you and I talked about this off camera, and I don't like this. He come out and said that Jeffrey Epstein, committed suicide. That's the narrative.
Well, yeah, that's the narrative, and who's to say that
you don't buy that? I'm going to turn the lights off if you say it.
I don't buy that he's dead.
Okay, that's different. That's a different outtake. But that's one thing. Okay.
I think the whole thing of him being hung in the prison and all that, I think that's all bullshit. I think that's a story, a made-up story.
All right. Okay, that's the narrative. The narrative said he hung himself with toilet paper, and it was a padded room like this. Yeah. And ironically, the security guard left for 30 minutes to go take a shit. Yeah. And he comes back and, Epstein's dead. Well, hold on. Epstein's dead. Oh, come on. I believe you believe he's not killed. Nothing surprises me. But him killing himself, no, that didn't happen. He was murdered. I think he was murdered. It was a hit. That's what it seemed like. That's what they did to Ruby in jail when they fucking killed him in jail. Like everybody who was part of the conspiracy to kill Kennedy ended up dead. I remember years ago, Time Life book. I wish I could get my hands on this. I can't remember. It was in the 80s, back when, we actually used to report things. Yeah. They actually had a book on everybody responsible for the Kennedy assassination, all the people that were linked, and it was like 100 people on this page, the front cover, and it was like 80 of those people were dead.
And it was on Time Magazine?
It was on Time Magazine. I remember it's like early teens, I was, probably 16 or 15, and I remember looking at that, go, wow, that's interesting. This is back when we actually,
Was that during Reagan?
That was during the Reagan administration, but Time wrote they had an article about the Kennedy assassination. And
that shit's archived now.
oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Try to look that up. You try to look that up and your phone will blow up. Oh, definitely. But that's my point is back then it was a little different. As the older we get, the less freedoms we have. But let's talk about January 6th. Yeah. Now, from what I heard, and I was just reading, he's going to, a big bombshell. And now that he's the head of the FBI, it says here that, let me read it, because Patel promises bombshell about FBI role in January 6th. Is he going to come out and actually admit that the FBI orchestrated all this?
Well,
I'd shit my pants.
Yeah, and between the FBI and the Capitol Police, they had a big part in it.
Of course. Well, that's like 9/11. It was a conspiracy with the government.
Yeah, that was a big shit show.
Yeah,
the whole thing was a shit show.
Oh, that January 6th was orchestrated by the FBI.
Absolutely.
Of course. Absolutely. Just like they orchestrated Oklahoma, Waco,
Oklahoma, yeah.
Ruby Ridge.
Yep. Yeah.
What was the other one they
all
did
the big ones that we know
with our governor? Our governor.
The FBI thing with the governor, the supposed kidnapping and all that.
Yeah, of course. That was all bullshit.
Yeah, it was all bullshit.
That was all bullshit. You can't trust these guys. You can't trust the system.
No.
You can't trust it, man. I'm telling you. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just the rabbit hole gets so deep, brother. It gets so deep. So, it's going to be very interesting. I want to see what he says. Apparently, Kash Patel, head of the FBI, is going to unleash he's going to talk about, he's got a bombshell, he's going to maybe expose that the FBI had something to do with January 6th. Hello, I know that. Just like I know, Epstein was murdered. Maybe he's going to come out and this will be interesting.
Extremely. You think it will be part of, like, stating the facts that, yes, we let people in, we let them do this, this, and this. We orchestrated to the point where we knew the pipe bombs were placed here.
The police, there were police officers that
that's what I'm saying.
Released the pipe bombs.
With all that.
Right. You know what? That's a good question. I'll tell you what, that's a step in the right direction. There's another thing I read that Kennedy, what he did was ban the Moderna vaccine, the mRNA.
Yeah, they took it off They also took it off the recommended vaccine list for the children.
For the children and pregnant women.
About time. Yeah. That's
a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
It's about time. Most countries have banned that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage. That shit is.
Yeah, I know it is. So
bad.
So if they start doing stuff like that, I would have more hope. And if Kash Patel came out and said, which I doubt, I don't know, he might say the FBI had a lot to do with January 6th. I mean, what else would that article mean? Then I would have a little bit of hope.
Well, I seen a clip on a short little clip on this morning on Fox and Friends. Bongino talking about just give it a second. I know you don't want to trust us and blah 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 blah. And he's like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like he's. The information freaking spout's gonna be turned on and shit in everybody's face and mouth and running all down their face and arms. The real truth.
I hope. Now, if this comes out, do you think this administration would ever have something to do with another 9/11 investigation? Would they reopen that?
I hope so. I really do, because that's a rabbit hole that needs to be opened up and taken care of, and there's a lot of people that were involved in that did a lot of bad things to a lot of people, man. And that was a disgusting situation. That was. That's for sure.
And I would hope that they would do something like that to actually open this up, because it does need to have another investigation, and you don't need the government investigating the government like the Warren Commission or the 9/11 Commission, which is the modern day version of the Warren Commission, if you know about the Kennedy assassination. It's the criminals investigating the criminals. Come on, they need a honest investigation by an outside source, an outside entity, a third party that's not connected.
Like we the people?
That would be great. Yeah, you and I should lead it. Should lead the investigation. And nobody would be accused of anything, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
That's what people forget is, the government works for the people.
You-
So
you-
why
well,
why the hell can't we, as a group of people, stand up, get a group of people that actually have balls enough to stand up and say, "Fuck you. This is what we're going to do. We're going to investigate you and all this other bullshit. We are the people."
Rick, this is why we're here.
That's what the fuck should happen.
This is why we're here.
Right, I get
this
it.
Is a
I
power.
get it, yeah.
This is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
We reach out to
Information.
300 people are viewing us a month, and that's a powerful tool. So we don't know who everybody view.
The 300 that view turns into 600, 900.
Exactly.
Because they spread the word.
Exactly.
And that's what we want.
So it's a powerful tool, but you
Informational warfare.
InfoWars, right. So you said a mouthful right there, and you're absolutely right. And we do our part by informing people, by telling people not to be so naive. Don't trust the people in charge because they lie.
Think for yourself and second guess.
Exactly. And like for the hard-loving MAGA supporters, in 2 years, he's gone. Then who's going to carry the torch? Who are you going to trust? Unless one of his kids runs for president, but you don't know. That's the thing, okay? And this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And this is what we have to do, because this is a grassroots movement, and we try to bring awareness. Definitely, we need awareness. We need more people to wake up and to realize that, the mainstream media. That come on, that's not, to me. That's not even entertainment anymore. I get so annoyed watching it. Don't you? When you become awake and aware, you look at that and I'm like, my gosh, I want to break that TV set, but it costs too much money.
I know it's aggravating, but I find humor in it though too. I do. I laugh at a lot of it though too, because already knowing the narrative and already knowing the truth, and figuring out that we know the truth. What I'm saying, of them telling the bullshit lies. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, and it keeps coming for sure. And it usually the people nowadays who are listening to the dinosaur media would be like the older people.
The booms.
The older people are totally, they're always scared, and those are the ones they can totally get to, especially during a scamdemic, right? How many of the old people they told to get a vaccine? Go out there and get your vax. It's so sad, man. They were euthanizing people left and right.
Yeah, that's the part that pisses me off. Is all the old people that got forced into homes and died. And,
right.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah. It was very terrible. So, I mean, I hope this administration, does something different, and that now that Kennedy has come out and banned the vaccine, that's a step in the right direction. But then again, Trump was the one who, Operation Warp Speed, and I know a lot of MAGA supporters were upset about that. I remember when that happened.
I have a different take on all that.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
Go ahead. Well, what's your take on that?
When he talked about it, he told you what to do. He told you the hydroxychloroquine and things of that matter.
When it happened, though, but he was the one that released the shot. He signed it into law.
The shot that he released,
so he's kind of responsible a little bit.
The shot that he released, though, from the research I've done and the things I've read and a personal side, we'll leave it at that.
You didn't take the shot.
No.
Well, why didn't you take the shot then?
Why didn't I take the shot?
It's a rhetorical question, maybe.
Because I didn't believe in it.
Okay, all right, but he's the one who
the Operation Warp Speed thing was more or less. See, how can I put this? They knew what was going to happen, so a lot of what was released was bad, but there was a remedy. You know what I'm saying? There was back plans to it. And so the Operation Warp Speed was more or less like a cover for what was going on.
A cover for what?
For the investigations of what is happening now.
See,
You know what I'm saying?
See, look,
to catch everybody in the process of what they were actually doing.
But you're risking a lot of lives by
I
releasing
think
these
there
shots.
was.
I
think
don't
there was
blame.
more
Look,
saved
I don't
than
blame.
there
Look,
was released.
I don't blame him for the creation of this because this thing was created years before. I know that.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish.
No,
I don't blame him for that. I do blame him for putting it into law, but now we got to start going after the companies. The first step is banning it. The next step is going after the companies. Going after the companies.
It's already happening.
And okay, that's what we need to do. We need a big, every time there's a gangster that doesn't pay his fucking taxes, they got him on television. Back in 1942, I didn't pay. They got a whole investigation. Well, we need to do one of those. We need to have a whole big Senate hearing on how this happened, why this happened, start prosecuting these bastards, and even doctors who sit there and play the babe in the woods routine. Oh, I didn't know this was going on. I had no clue. Oh, I had a friend who went to the doctor and he asked the doctor, what's in the vaccine? I have no idea. Are you freaking serious? I have no idea what's in the vaccine, but you should take it. Why? Because you get a kickback? It's time to go after all these bastards. And that's what they are, bastards. Every single one of them. And I welcome a revolution. I do. And I want to reach out to everybody. I don't care if you're Antifa. I don't care if you're the Nation of Islam. I don't care if you listen to David Duke. I don't care who you are. If you're a red-blooded American citizen and you pay taxes, don't trust the system. Because the system... And you said it best when you talked about the medical system. The medical system is not about your health. No. It's about money. Thank you. You said that on my show, and I remember that. And you're right about that. So people, money. I wish we do have a revolution, a grassroots revolution made up of all of us. Put our petty differences aside, because that's what we need. Because pretty soon you're not going to have a home to live in, and most people don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the medical system's designed to keep you sick.
It always.
That's all it is. Designed to keep you sick and make money.
Everything goes back to what we were talking about. The same group of people running the show. Okay? And the elitist, they're the ones who control the country. And I get it. Trump is one person. But like I said, he's one person. All right? He's not perfect by any means. But there are some things I like. So one thing that makes me positive is the banning of this vaccine. Okay, now, the next thing, how do you handle the banksters? They're the ones that control the money supply. The Federal Reserves, and you said, and a lot of people think that the Federal Reserves are done.
Yeah.
You're not the only one, there's others.
Yeah.
Okay, but, and Trump, I know, is fighting right now with Chairman Powell, who's the head of the Fed, who won't lower interest.
The fight.
And you know what? And I do know when they do lower interest, but they've done it a million times and it creates bubbles. And there's a reason why he's doing that. And there's a reason why he wants Chairman Powell to lower the interest. You can think what you want. Although if he does lower interest, I'll tell you what, the housing market is going to explode. You know how many people I know waiting for that interest to go down so they can sell their house?
Yeah.
So that could help the economy.
Yeah, they don't want that.
In the long run, does it create bubbles? Yes, it does. But the banksters had no problem lowering interest artificially at 0% and lending out money they don't have, which causes fucking inflation. They don't care about that. We're just going to pay back the debt anyways. We do through taxation and we do through inflation.
Do you know how much the banks are going to lose when that happens? Because a lot of banks own property, own all these houses and shit.
Well, yes. Well, BlackRock owns the whole country, and they're buying billions of Bitcoin.
You just
too.
answered your own question why you don't want to fucking lower the interest rates.
Well, you're talking about Chairman Powell. No, I know why.
He's looking for the bankers not to lose their fucking money.
I understand that.
They don't.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is Trump is trying to get him to do it.
wants
And
to
he won't.
bankrupt
I
them.
know that.
He wants to bankrupt the system
Well,
for it to get restarted to go under the new financial system.
Yeah, the dollar's done. And
It's done.
It's been done.
The whole
The beginning of
monetary
the end was
system
Bretton
is
Woods.
done,
Yeah,
dude.
we know. And that's what they want to do.
It's beating
But
a dead dog.
It's beating a dead horse. I get it. So they want to crash the system to create a new system. But this is something that I've known for 20 fucking years, and it's happening now. They want to crash the old and bring in the new.
It should have happened 25 fucking years ago.
Well, it started to go after, Nixon and Bretton Woods. That's when they created the petrodollar. That's when they took the gold out of the dollar, and they created this worthless piece of shit you call fiat currency. Unbelievable. Look where we at. Now, what's gold at? Gold's at 3,200 still, right? Silver's still at $34 an ounce. Bitcoin's at 105,000. Like I told people months ago, it's the year of crypto. Crypto and, of course, the altcoins. Oh, man. Ethereum is still stuck at 2,500. Oh, my God. It's like there's crazy glue. It won't move. But a lot of people like Christopher Green say that's going to go up to 10 grand. And there you go. Like you said it earlier, and we talked about it. There's the whole new system. They're going to put all the debt into stable coins, which is very interesting. And stable coins are centralized. They're not decentralized like Bitcoin and other crypto. Nevertheless, though, you have anything else you want to bitch about? Huh? Your
Life
ex?
in general.
No, something I don't know. Your speeding ticket.
Just
No.
be aware of what's going on out there. Just do a little research, open your eyes, and always second guess and try to destroy the narrative and find what they're lying about inside what they're telling you, because that's what's going on.
Definitely, and
always.
Yes, and like I said, man, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't trust the government. Don't trust authority. Definitely question everything. Be cynical. It's not going to hurt you to be a little cynical, I'll tell you what. And that would be our show for today, and we'll be back next week, and I'm sure something's going to happen within 7 days. It always does. Thank you, everybody, thank you again, Slick Rick.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming back.
No
Great
problems. Everyone have a good day.
Okay, thank you.